Welcome back, YouTubers, to a post-WrestleMania Smackdown review with us, the British Fist.
Catching!
Mr. Parkin here, still with no power comes no responsibility, and this guy sitting next to me, you can tell Triple H is on the show on Smackdown. It's none other than NJ, people.
What's up?
Please subscribe to us down below. Please like this video if you will, and post your thoughts on this episode of Smackdown down in the comment section below.
And my two quick announcements would be thank you very much for getting our WrestleMania to good viewership and our Raw to good viewership. 10,000 views, which are expected because it being such a big Raw following a WrestleMania. And also, please make sure you contact us, the British Fist, in the links in the description box below.
Yeah, indeed. That's our first ever video that's gone past 10,000 views. It only took us 2 and a bit years, MJ, but there we go. So thank you very much for giving us that viewership. But now we've got to move on from Raw, move on from that heavily promoted TNA Impact Wrestling episode, and move on to SmackDown. I think going by the crowd reaction on Raw, which was really fantastic, great Raw that was, WWE were always going to can that crowd noise out on this episode of SmackDown, weren't they? Because that's pretty much what they do. They were cheering the heels a lot, but you could tell the canned heat, it's a bit like WrestleMania, post-WrestleMania SmackDown last year, the canned heat was kind of ruining the natural crowd reaction, which would have been nice to hear on this show.
I know not many people may agree, or maybe they will. I think that SmackDown should eventually somehow go live instead of pre-record like we're getting here. But with the crowd reaction, yes, they dubbed out. But I think the way they warm this up, because we've got Ziggler in the opener after what we're going to talk about, who compared how the crowd were between each show leading up to this moment.
Indeed. We opened up the show. By the way, we're doing this old school. We're going through each segment on we're going through each segment. So we're doing old school today, like Raw. We opened up the show with Big E Langston, who announces our new World Heavyweight Champion, Dolph Ziggler. He sounded like a proper ring announcer there, didn't he?
I guess they were teasing him on the mic, which I don't really think was very good.
Dolph Ziggler has got his own ring announcer now, just like Alberto Del Rio. We noticed how when he came out, there's a lot of canned heat here. You could hear the crowd cheering, but the canned heat kicked into like a couple of boos. Sounded like also Dolph Ziggler, a bit of a bad throat. He needed a bit of a throat lozenge because he wasn't talking very well. Probably the moment overdone him, I don't know. But he was very passionate in this promo. You can really feel from Dolph Ziggler's promo, especially the way he was just shrugging off and, you know, saying, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. Especially the way he was shrugging all that off, that, you know, he really had a passion and he really felt good about his title win. You could just tell, because he got interrupted by Jack Swagger, he got interrupted by Del Rio, he got interrupted by Jericho, and each time he got interrupted, he pretty much shrugged it off and saying, no, this is my celebration, which is exactly how he should be, really.
And this is the thing, because with Ziggler, it's a bit of a shame only giving his mic work, now he's champion, because beforehand, he didn't really get as much mic work as you'd expect from Ziggler, but with this, the fact that he had Zeb and Swagger to begin with, perfect good point. They lost at WrestleMania. Raw didn't go very well, so back of the line, very true. Then out comes, after him, it's
Del Rio.
Del Rio promising to get a rematch, which, rightfully so, he should be back there again. Then we get Chris Jericho, a repeated match, but then again, it's a good match for Ziggler.
And a good match for a SmackDown main event, which could be pay-per-view worthy. I didn't think all those interruptions were needed. I felt Dolph Ziggler needed a segment on his own to start off the show, but hell, that's probably how they're going to treat Ziggler. We saw by the ending. So our main event of this evening was going to be Ziggler versus Jericho after Chris Jericho came out and ended the segment. Solid opener. I just wish that they did show Dolph Ziggler's passion and everything, but all those interruptions kind of hurt it just a tad for me.
Well, what I liked about this is that, yes, the interruptions did affect the flow of Ziggler, but Ziggler did keep it going. He went up against 3 names, so I think the way it was more to give Ziggler the mic working skills, which I think really paid off in the opener.
Primetime players versus Team Hell No. Team Hell No get the victory here. We can't really be too surprised that the primetime jobbers are jobbing out. The Shield cut a promo backstage, though. It looks like they may be going after the tag titles now or in some kind of feud with Team Hell No. That could be interesting.
They did a very good job. Again, I do like it when they cut a promo. I still think that them going back, Ortiz and going back for the tag titles was a bit delayed. But the mic work, talking about the Taker thing, and they're going to find the right time to do set justice and stuff. Believe in the Shield it definitely teases what yet to come.
Wade Barrett versus Santino. Didn't care too much for this match, but it's important that Wade Barrett got a win after he won the title on Raw, I guess.
And this really shows how bad the mid-card is, because you cannot give Wade Barrett, who should be a main eventer, a stronger opponent. You have to give him an ex-long-term IC champion, US champion being Santino, instead of someone else.
Who's essentially a comedy character at the end of the day. Bellas and Tamina versus Funkadactyls and Caitlyn.
Yep.
You know, they're kind of continuing two feuds on here. You've got Bellas versus Funkadactyls and maybe Caitlyn and Tamina. I don't really know what they're doing with the Divas Championship right now because they nixed it from the show. So one of the Bellas pins Cameron Lynn. You know, I don't care too much about this segment. There you go.
A bit of a weak finish. Drag your hair back. 1, 2, 3 over. Tamina versus Caitlyn. That's where they're going to do it. Fine, but I really don't care.
Triple H promo in the hour main event. It was on SmackDown. A nice way to try and attract some viewers to SmackDown, saying Triple H is going to be there on SmackDown. He came out with the cast because he did something wrong with his arm. He was just about to talk about Brock Lesnar with his match, and then we got 3MB interrupt. And quite interesting that Heath Slater actually was like, no, shut up, Triple H. Yeah, that felt good. Shut up, Triple H. He kind of liked doing that. And they surround the ring just like the Shield would do. That is until the actual Shield come out and actually try and threaten Triple H in the middle of the ring.
That's where I see it, because 3MB made one, or Heath Slater made a good point by saying whoever wants to make a name for themselves has to go up to the top dogs like Cena, Triple H in this instance. So they made that point. But getting to the ring, yeah, I'm pretty sure Triple H could have taken them all out, but out comes the Shield themselves.
Shield pretty much did it for them. Yeah. So they surround the ring, and all of a sudden we have the Kane's music going off, and Daniel Bryan and Kane come out to the ring to save the day. Quite similar to what happened on Raw with Undertaker. They're now doing it with Triple H and having Team Hanoa come out to save the day from the Shield. Once again, it would have been good. I mean, Triple H isn't going to be wrestling really again for a while, so why not have the Shield beat down Triple H possibly and just use that as a reason to take more TV? But at the same time, they're trying to continue on this feud between Daniel Bryan, Kane, and the Shield, and some other people logged in there like big names. It's good the Shield are actually going after big names though.
We got this debate in our Raw review about the Shield taking out a big name. Like, you've had the Nexus do it before. Why can't, and we've had AJ to TNA, but why can't we have the Shield take out, like, Undertaker, write him up till next year's WrestleMania?
Same with Triple H.
Or we have Triple H, who, again, I still see him as a Vince McMahon-like character, should only wrestle when needed. But instead of doing that, they were doing more using Taker and Triple H to push on this tag team title kind of tease.
Which isn't a bad way to go. You're involving the Shield with some big names. That's good. Sheamus and Orton versus Big Show.
Yep.
Handicap match that was set up by what happened on Raw, and Big Show took them both out to a massive pop to the crowd because the crowd didn't care about Sheamus or Orton wrestling each other. Big Show walks away and gets counted out, and it seems like they're probably going to go down a Randy Orton Big Show route, especially after the post-match segment where you had Mark Henry attack Sheamus backstage. It seems like they're going to take Mark Henry away from Ryback, put him with Sheamus, and have Orton and Big Show feud, and that's fine. I mean, they're two feuds I wouldn't mind seeing.
Number one, I'm glad they're doing early teasers for Extreme Rules. Gives them enough time to build up to it. I like that, but at the same time, I think it's a bit like, oh, quickly pull away, because you had Ryback, Mark Henry, possible rematch, but now because of the whole Rock thing and the fact they want Cena to have a new opponent, they've had to change everything. So it doesn't look like it makes sense, but at the same time, I give the WWE credit for giving us early build.
Yeah, it's two feuds I'd be fine with, especially for Orton and Sheamus. Antonio Cesaro versus Kofi Kingston. Got no entrances. Kofi wins. Cesaro looked pretty impressive in the match. It looks like he'll probably be getting the next US title shot against Cesaro. That would be like the new US title feud. Shame that he was missed off the WrestleMania card, but you know, I guess they're at least trying to give Cesaro a feud going forward.
Finally, we see Cesaro in a wrestling match, but he's going to get to Kofi, an expected mid-card worthy opponent. We're still waiting for Christian to possibly come and start a feud. If that's not going to happen, Cesaro should drop the belt to someone.
Yeah, not really a very interesting US title holder, but I think keeping the belt on him is necessary personally. But I think because of the bad mid-card WWE have, they're struggling to find compelling face opponents for him. And that's been the case with a lot of heel mid-card champions, in my opinion. The great thing about having a face mid-card champion is there's plenty of young and up-and-coming heels like Cody Rhodes, Damian Sandow, people like that, etc., to go after the belt. Whereas you don't really have those credible baby faces. Kofi is one of the very rare breed of mid-carders that is stuck in mid-card hell. But there you go. Moves on to our main event. Chris Jericho versus Dolph Ziggler. Fandango got his own entrance. I was thinking, oh, quick squash match of Fandango, but he was just ringside, you know, chilling.
Anyway, to continue the Fandango going into a feud, using him still there, him watching this match, stealing Chris Jericho's spotlight. So I like how they brought him out for this.
Yeah, you had the match didn't get as much time as I thought it would do, but then again, it's a SmackDown main event, so you know you wouldn't expect that. You have Fandango distracting the referee to allow Big E Langston to hit Jericho to allow Dolph Ziggler to get the win. On the one hand, yeah, great. Ziggler got a win over Jericho in his first match as new heavyweight champion. That's good. But he needed about 2 to 3 distractions to actually get there. But there you go. That's generally how WWE will book their Money in the Bank heel champions that lost on WrestleMania to Daniel Bryan, only to cash in, you know, and then they expect people to believe that you could beat Dolph Ziggler. So.
My 2 points about this quickly is, number one, I look at it and think, when Becky was Ziggler's manager, she did nothing for him. Now he's got AJ and Langston. They're actually helping pick up wins. Give you credit for that. Second thing is, like predicted, as soon as he becomes champion, he gets wins. Not beforehand. Not really.
It's true. They just don't know how to build up a Money in the Bank winner, do they? Well, I do like Ziggler. Trust me, I do. But when he's losing about 75% of his matches before he becomes champion, I'm expected to believe that he's winning most of his matches as champion. Sorry, you just can't buy it. It's just like the Daniel Bryan thing last year. Interesting way to end the show, though. You have Big E Langston and Dolph Ziggler attacking Jericho after the match. You have Ziggler standing tall in the ring over Chris Jericho. That was good. He hit him with the zigzag and everything. But that didn't end the show. You know, I really thought that Dolph Ziggler as World Heavyweight Champion should end the show, especially as he's the new champion. But instead, we ended the show with Fandango attacking Jericho and doing one of these leg drops. And I know the fans still kind of humming his theme a little bit. So interesting here. You know, Dolph Ziggler didn't end the show. Instead, it was Fandango. You can tell that Vince McMahon really wants this character to try and go somewhere if he's ending the show ahead of the new World Heavyweight Champion from Monday.
I do agree with that, but at the same time, with it being a SmackDown, not Raw, Fandango would never properly finish a Raw moment. But SmackDown, fair enough, you're headlining, in a way, Ziggler, Jericho, and Fandango in the final. They're really putting Fandango in a permanent spot, it looks like. To continue the feud with Jericho, I'm looking forward to the build. But at the same time, Jericho trying to put down Ziggler at the beginning, and Jericho's not won a match since...
Which debuted last year. Who knows? I guess the thing is for Chris Jericho is we can moan about him losing, but at the end of the day, I think with him only being there in short stints, it's best that they get him and they put over as much talent as they can with Chris Jericho. I don't think he's going to be winning any world titles or anything. It would be nice to see him win a match other than maybe against a mid-carder like Kobe Kingston or anything. But at the end of the day, he's there to put over talent like Dolph Ziggler, like Jack Swagger, you know, etc. So that's what I feel Chris Jericho's job is, and he's not going to be there for much longer, so they might as well get as much out of him while he's there.
I still think he needs to be a credible wrestler, because like in the past, he was like World Heavyweight Champ, he was Intercontinental Tag Champ, and then he starts to have all these losing streaks. It makes Fandango think, oh, Fandango can beat him easily if he's been losing all these other matches. If he had some stronger wins building up to this Fandango feud, maybe it'd be more of a challenge. But the fact that Jericho's had a losing streak, maybe he's going to lose again at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I can understand why you would feel that way about Chris Jericho. I mean, I think a lot of people, that'd be a good, interesting discussion to have in the comment section, actually. So this week's edition of SmackDown, while it wasn't entertaining, we got some direction, which is important. Right after WrestleMania, we want direction into Extreme Rules, which is going to be, what, 5-6 weeks away. We've got Big Show and Orton, Mark Henry, Sheamus, The Shield versus the Tag Champs. We've got Jericho and Fandango, Cena versus Ryback on Raw. We got a lot of direction now as to where WWE are going to go, and I must admit the direction is pretty good in my opinion. Be interesting to see what they do with Ziggler. He's obviously going to get some sort of rematch against Del Rio. How they're going to do that. What did you think to this edition of SmackDown anyway?
I think they had their key points emphasising what SmackDown wants to concentrate on: the tag, the world title scene, maybe teasing a US thing, but I don't feel that it was the best SmackDown, but it highlighted Ziggler, which was what's needed, especially after his win.
Yeah, they needed to highlight him, but I think he needed to end the show personally. But WWE are high on this Fandango character, and I can see why. So that's all I'll say. So like generally, SmackDown isn't really that much of an entertaining show. Generally, it's kind of more of a filler show. But I think on this week's show, they did give us a lot of direction as to what they're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks, maybe months. So I felt that was good, especially for after WrestleMania, which is such a big time for, you know, feuds ending and stuff, and they're continuing on a lot of them. So there we go. Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. It'd be interesting to see what you thought of SmackDown, the direction the WWE are going in currently. Thoughts in the comment section below, NJ.
And thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've got some good, bad thoughts of this SmackDown. Tune in for a later video. Until next time, YouTubers, thank you very much and good.